Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, gaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. This is live stream 851. If your first time hanging out with us, let me point out, super casual around here. Just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And then we're going to be taking a look at a tabletop game. And tonight we are going to dive into the newest supplement for Starfinder from our friends over at Paizo Inc. We're going to take a peek into Interstellar Species. Dun, dun, dun. This is a player-facing book, so I think this will do very well for Paizo, because we know how those player-facing books do with role-playing game fans out there. So I should point out, if you're not familiar with how this stream works, and you are tuning in to check out Interstellar Species, let me make sure that you understand that we tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So if you are watching live, it'll probably be about 35 minutes or so before we take a peek. But if you are watching 30 minutes or more after this stream ends, then there are timestamps. So you can jump directly to the first look if you would like. And those timestamps are located in the show notes, or depending on what device you happen to be watching this on, might be right there in the timeline of the video itself. So there is that. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, if you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in and I will respond. Plus, you also have to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. So first out the gate tonight was the Happy Wargamer saying hello. Coco B is with us, as is Kevin R. Smith in the early running today. So before we jump on into the show, I do want to mention that my best friend Elliot Miller's daughter's birthday was over the weekend. I was going to share a happy birthday to her because she watches every once in a while. She's probably hasn't watched this in months, but according to Elliot, she does watch on occasion. So if she happens to see this, I definitely hope that Aaliyah had a wonderful birthday. I think she's like 27 or 28 now, because we're so old. No, I'm kidding. I think she's 15. I think. Pretty sure. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Kid, last time I looked, it was like, wow, hey, your daughter's like 9. Like Elliot's oldest son is in his mid 30s, and it's like, oh my God. Like, holy shit. All right, let's jump on into the news because Iello Games is releasing a mystery title, which is aimed at gamers of all ages. It looks kind of cute, I gotta admit. Here's the latest on The Animals of Baker Street. For years, Sherlock Holmes has called on Toby, his faithful companion, to help him with his most puzzling investigations. Toby has fond memories of those nights spent chasing thugs through the misty alleys of London. Toby enjoys life on Baker Street and over time has become very social and friendly with other animals in the neighborhood. Among his new neighbors, there are four he is particularly close to, and that gives him an idea. He is now too old to lead the investigation, but he could train his four friends in the hard work of detecting. For some reason, the cell sheet info says hard work of detective. But not very good localization there. The Animals of Baker Street is a cooperative investigation game for 1 to 4 players set in 19th century London and is as cute as it is captivating. You'll have to investigate mysteries that even Sherlock Holmes, the greatest of detectives, does not always suspect. Fortunately, you neighborhood animals are watching out. Choose a place to move to discover what is hidden in your neighborhood. Your little feathered or furry friends will surely be able to help you discover the rest of the story. Use a clever card system, associate the different characters you play or the objects you find along your adventure to analyze the places in which you will move or chat with the inhabitants you will meet. It's an endearing universe full of mysteries. A total of 7 investigations will be presented to you with full replayability to discover all the mysteries of Baker Street and find all the little elements that you would not have found during your first visit. Try to solve the case within the given time to win. The Animals of Baker Street is for 1 to 4 players ages 10 and up. Plays in around 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $44.99 when it arrives later this month. And I get a kick out of the little spider. Don't know why. I live in the kingdom of spiders, although not now, because now it's starting to get chilly. Sorry, little spiders. Rest in peace. I had nothing to do with it. But for some reason, I, I I just have this thing for like cute little spiders. I don't know. It's like very bizarre. Very bizarre. Remember, some of you out there might remember when I reviewed Dungeon Pets. They had a drawing of like this kind of cute furry spider. It's like, oh, that's funny. I like that. All right, Flaming Heron is with us in chat. Flaming Heron is one of our chat moderators. Says Toby likes speaking in the third person and says it's kind of a coincidence because they were just checking Sherlock Holmes games that are on sale on Steam. Well, how about that? On to the next news piece. Hitting stores next spring. It's an interesting looking game from Boards and Dice. Here's the scoop on books. Oh, what is this? No, that is not correct. Damn it. I swear. Why is this? What the heck is going on here? Let me double check something. Because it's like, I know I did all the news here. Wow, that's weird. That's bizarre. I mean, I'm double checking. That's super odd. The whole, yeah, something's going on with this solid state drive. I was gonna say this whole news piece, the images aren't, they're not there. It's like what? All right. I will have to save that news piece for tomorrow, I guess. Weird. All right. Well, I just checked. I can see that I've got everything else is there. Weird. So, yes, Piper Dave is with us. Fleming Heron says, when slides don't play ball. Hey, well, once again, here's that P500 war game by Swords and Bayonets from GMT Games for you you wargaming fans out there like the happy wargamer. Alrighty. Hey, it's a live show. You know how it works. Yes, Sarah D says I should call in Toby and his pals with a vanishing news story. A new bundle of holding has arrived. It just popped up, I think, yesterday, last night. It features N Publishing's Level Up series for 5e D&D. Here's the deets on the deal. Adventurer. This all-new Level Up bundle presents, you guessed it, Level Up, the standalone advanced 5e tabletop fantasy role-playing game from N Publishing. Level Up is a complete independent rule set backwards compatible with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. For those who like 5e but want an extra layer of crunch, Level Up enhances the game with deeper, more flexible options, diverse heritages, a reworked ranger class, a new warlord class, martial maneuvers, strongholds, a complete exploration system, thematic journey rules, new combat conditions, distinctive weapons and armor, crafting of magic items, monster templates, and improved challenge ratings for adversaries, and more. Funded in a spectacular October 2021 Kickstarter campaign, all the A5E titles also work as supplements to the 5th edition books you already have. If you just want the monsters or the class overhauls or the exploration rules, you can drop the A5E creations smoothly into your ongoing campaign. You can also play all published 5e adventures in Level Up without conversion. And publishing offers lots of free A5e downloads and many free online aids at a5e.tools. Kind of strange. I've never heard of that top level domain. For just $24.95, you get all 6 complete titles in the Level Up collection, which has a retail value of $105. And these are DRM free PDFs, including the 3 core rule books, the Adventurer's Guide, Trials and Treasures, and a Monstrous Menagerie, the narrator's screen, the introductory adventure Memories of Holdenshire, and issue 0 of N Publishing's A5E house magazine, The Gate Pass Gazette, which I think there's like 9 issues of. So there are a few issues of this. These savings do run through December 5th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to the pandemic-related charity, you guessed it, Direct Relief. Sweet. This is a very recent release. You figure it kickstarted in October of last year. It funded. So obviously it didn't come out until at least 6 months later. I mean, they had to do the print run. I do think these books are available as physical books. Kind of cool. Kind of cool, especially if you feel that 5th edition is a little too rules light for your taste. Kevin R. Smith says they have the PDFs, couldn't afford the hardcovers at the time of the Kickstarter, have only looked at the player's guide a little bit. And publishing usually does a pretty nice job on their releases. So, although weirdly enough, I know I'm getting off topic, they did a World of 2000 AD. Effectively, it was mainly a Judge Dredd role-playing game. And they only had the license for like 3 years or something. It was like, suddenly it was out. And then it was like, oh, you better get it now because we won't have the license anymore. Kind of wild. Kevin says they might be promoting their new release, the Dungeon Delver's Guide. Yeah, a lot of times we do see that with some of these bundles where it's kind of like, hey, remember us? Because we got a new thing coming out. So 245 Trioxin is with us as well. Welcome aboard. Following another successful Kickstarter, the fantasy role-playing game Swords and Chaos is available for pre-order. And here's the skinny from Blackspire Fantasy LLC. There's a new tabletop role-playing game soon at hand. We pulled the wicked thing down from the void between stars and bound its ethereal coils to tablets of ancient clay, much as the high sorcerers do when binding their spells. We call the game Swords and Chaos, and it is a fearsome beast, a wolf among dogs, if you will. Swords and Chaos was meticulously crafted for those who love white-knuckle tales of heroic fantasy. Suffused within its pages are the pulp, prose, action, philosophy, and doom of such titans of fiction as Robert E. Howard, Charles R. Saunders, and Carl Edward Wagner. Or was it Wagner? I think it's Wagner, actually. Among others. I have actually never read any of the Kane stories. Yeah, I know. Terrible of me. If larger-than-life heroes facing wicked villains and indescribable horrors in a mysterious age of antiquity fills you with a sense of wonder, excitement, and a desire to crush your enemies, then by the gods of New Atlantis, take up your axe and join us. Swords and Chaos is intuitive, easy to learn, and fast-paced. Whatever style of play is your favorite, S&C is designed to support your adventures in an intuitive and unobtrusive way. Whether you prefer thrill-a-minute hack and slash, creeping dungeon crawls, in-depth roleplay, globe-trotting overland adventure, or complex political intrigue, Swords and Chaos provides the simple tools and support needed to make such scenarios not just possible, but incredibly fun and rewarding. Now remember, I pointed out this was a successful Kickstarter, so I'm going to share the Kickstarter video with you. You can get a little better feel. Plus, I kind of got a kick out of it when I checked it out. So kick back and give it a peek.
Who dares intrude upon my innermost sanctum? I sense that you are a seeker of rare and exceptional games, yes? I may have just the thing for you. In my explorations, I have seen many strange and shocking things. Among the greatest is a role-playing game inspired by tales of swords and sorcery. A fabulous librum which does not yet exist in physical form, but which might, with your assistance and a bit of your gold. Are you prepared to face the stark madness and uncanny brilliance of swords and chaos? So pledge your allegiance to serve and kill!
You can pre-order the 300 plus page hardcover right now of Swords and Chaos for $59.99. Or you can score the PDF, which I don't think you get. I think you're just pre-ordering the PDF for $20. And this will be available at Drive-Thru RPG soon, because I know they are the publisher who is going to actually provide PDF access. So, got to admit, this looks pretty interesting. I like the video because you could tell they have like almost no budget, but they did the best they could. You know, they tried to make it at least relatively entertaining, unlike some Kickstarter videos that we've seen where it's like, are you kidding me? Really? So here's something that I don't think they really touch upon too much in the video is the core rules, the mechanics are castles and crusades. So there is that. So this is actually built on castles and crusades. So it is a D20 system. You've got your primary attributes, your secondary attributes, just like Castles and Crusades. So if you did Castles and Crusades, but you're looking for a very sword and sorcery vibe, you might want to take a peek at this. So Kevin R. Smith says, loves the homage to the first edition Player's Handbook. Yes, that's why I included that image. Plus, it's also, you've got great Cthulhu rising up in front of the sailing ship. Thought that was kind of interesting as well. Plus, we also got a little image in that video, little tip of the cap to, the title of this story, H.P. Lovecraft, In the Witch House. I can't remember the full title to it now. Damn. Anyway, Master Jedi Dude is with us. I believe this is the first time Master Jedi Dude has hung out with us. Welcome aboard. So, anyway, once again, this is Swords and Chaos. I would definitely like to take a peek at this. I am very, very interested. Actually, I think the biggest thing I'm curious about is the magic system. Because in my opinion, I don't know, in chat, you can let me know what you think. If you're watching this after this, thank you. Dreams in the Witch House. Thank you, Flaming Heron. I was like, what is the first part of that? It's like, damn it. With the little human-faced rat. Ugh. I remember they did, I think it was it Showtime that did the Masters of Horror? I don't think it was HBO. And the director who did From Beyond and, of course, Reanimator directed Dreams in the Witch House, and it was really creepy. Very, very creepy. Anyway, I'm very curious about the magic system because, agree with me or not, let me know in chat, let me know in the comments. I honestly don't think you can do swords and sorcery. We're talking Howard-ish swords and sorcery with fancy and magic. I just don't think it vibes with that pulp feel. Because in my opinion, Dying Earth is not swords and sorcery. I know it's fantasy, don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing that fact, but it is not that. So, Master Jedi Dude says they're listening while commuting home. My good friend, designer Herman Lettman, was doing that. Of course, he's recently retired, so he doesn't have to, but he would actually listen to the show as he was taking the train on Long Island. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, let's move on to my final news piece. Hopefully we've got, the images for that. There's a new standalone game in the Cyan universe. It's arrived from Onyx Path Publishing. Here's what I know about Dragon. You've been chosen by a dragon, gifted with magic and the incredible ability to shapeshift into one of their terrible and awesome forms. In a world of myth, yours has been rewritten time and again, and yet dragons remember all truths. You are an agent in an ancient war, working behind the lines and preparing for a battle for the fate of the world. Discover the truth, find yourself, make your own destiny. Scion Dragon details the stories of heirs, those chosen by dragons to act within the world as their agents. It is the story of discovering history, subverting enemies, and espionage. Your draconic patron seeks to embroil you in millennia old plots and ancient grudges as shadowy manipulators. All the while, you must learn their secrets and either embrace the dragon's goals for you or make your own. The Scion Dragon is a standalone game in the world of Scion, and it's meant for use with Scion Origin. Inside, you'll find character creation for heirs, those chosen by dragons to enact their plots in the world, knacks, spells, and all the draconic magic wielded by heirs, powered by the story path system, six flights, Drac, Joka, Lindworm, Long, Naga, and Serpent dragons, all suitable for patronage for your heirs. Information about the world from the dragon's perspective, complete with plots and hooks to get your characters deep into draconic intrigue. Scion Dragon is available as a premium hardcover for $59.99 through Drive-Thru RPG. There's a few different, there's regular hardcover, soft cover, so on. Or you can grab just the PDF alone for $19.99. I don't know if Scion is part of the World of Darkness. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. There is just so much under the umbrella of World of Darkness. It's kind of like, holy cow. But I know that Sammy, who does our a lot of our PDF reviews, is a big fan of Onyx Path Publishing and Scion itself and a lot of the World of Darkness. So I thought I would share this because it is a new standalone and it does seem pretty unique. So you can shapeshift into a dragon and there's political intrigue and things like that. So Kevin says, pretty sure Scion is a super system that is independent of World of Darkness. Cool deal. And I think this is actually independent of the actual core setting of the role-playing game, like the supers portion of it. I don't know. Maybe not. Taking a look at that art. Maybe it is part of it. I don't know. All righty then. That is it for the news tonight. Man, I'm gonna have to. I think I gotta get me a new solid state drive. It's like I know I saved the images and those files for the second news piece. It's like, where did they go? Dun dun. Yeah, I guess I may have to hire those animals of Baker Street to find out. All right. Anyway, we're going to jump in and take a look at Interstellar Species for Starfinder in just a couple of moments. But first, I did want to point out that, I don't think I mentioned this yesterday. I might be getting a sponsor. Zoinks! Kabuki Kid is with us. Double K's in the house. Yes, I might be getting a sponsor. So, thought that was kind of interesting. So, yes. So, I have to decide between stamps.com, Purple Mattress. Joking. I was going to do that last April Fool's Day, and I forget. Either I zoned out on it on April Fool's, or April 1st just wasn't a show day. But I was gonna put it together like sponsors, and I was gonna go through the same kind of crap you hear from the, Curiosity Stream and Purple Mattress and Stamps.com. 588-2300 Empire from Alorcus 2000. Welcome aboard. I always thought Empire Carpets originated in the Chicago area. I'm not sure if it did or not, because when I was living in other parts of the country, I would see Empire Carpet commercials. Of course, the one guy was like long gone. Earl Scheib. Yes, I have made references to Earl Scheib before. We'll paint any color, 99.99, or no, 99.95, I think. But I'm so old, I remember when it was 39.95. Any color. And I always heard that Earl Scheib's paint jobs were trash. They would get paint on your windows and stuff. Kevin points out, too bad Wilkins Coffee isn't around anymore. That'd be a natural fit. Yes. Sarah D points out, yes, April 1st was a Friday. Yeah, that's why I didn't pull it off. But yeah, I was going to do the whole, all right, and no, hey, we're brought to you by Stamps.com, and go through what everybody always says. Kind of almost verbatim of what you hear. Yes. Speaking of Wilkins Coffee, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
What is it?
Say,
What is it?
hey, why it's Buttercup. Popcorn, add sweet cream butter to hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious,
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy,
crisp and crunchy.
you'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup, popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
Oh, I float through the air with the greatest of ease, with or without the flying trapeze. My act is so great, gravity I defy, 'cause I bring T-O-E-D-Y.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can.
Get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
Mmm, delicious.
Wilkins Coffee is on the ball.
Not to me, it isn't.
Either get on the ball with Wilkins or get out of the way.
Who walks the stair without a care and shoots so high in the sky? Bounce up and down just like a clown. Everyone knows it's Slinky, the best present yet to give or get, but costs a little to buy. The hit of the day when you're ready to play. Everyone knows it's Slinky. It's Slinky, it's Slinky, for fun it's the best of the toys. It's Slinky, the favorite of girls and boys. It's Slinky, for fun it's the best of the toys. It's Slinky, the favorite of girls and boys. Everyone wants a Slinky, you ought to get a Slinky.
Slinky toys for hours of fun. Slinky Caterpillar, Slinky Train, Slinky Dog, all at your favorite store.
Slinky. I don't know about how many of you out there remember those kind of commercials. Now, granted, I was not around when that commercial aired. That Slinky song. It's Slinky, Slinky. Yes. So Sarah D pointed out that the spiders in the kingdom of spiders down here may have taken that news item's images hostage, demanding more heat before they, you know, you know what I mean. Kabuki Kid says they remember that Slinky jingle. Also, Flaming Heron asked if it's going to be my sponsor going to be RC Cola. Could be Diet Right. Which is made by RC Cola. So that is a possibility. Kevin points out before there was Red Bull, there was Toddy. Oh, that commercial where I've shared where it's like Toddy with a hot dog. It's like, what? Could you imagine drinking a chocolate drink with a hot dog? Kabuki Kid asks, who remembers plastic Slinkies? I do. I recall that. So I remember those. I gotta be honest, I never had a Slinky. I had some friends who had Slinkies, so I screwed around with them a little bit, but to me, I just thought they were pretty damn boring. So there's also some discussion going on about owning role-playing game books and not getting around to reading them, either physical books or PDFs. Yeah, I understand that misery. And, you know, I come from the day when we didn't have PDFs. So the only way you were going to get your hands on the, you know, games and that, you were going to buy those books. And there were some things that I bought that I just never got around to reading. So I would buy so much stuff. All right, enough of that, because I know you're here to check out Starfinder Interstellar Species from Paizo Inc. It's written by, and I apologize, I'm going to butcher a bunch of these names. Written by Rigby Bendel, Jessica Catalan, John Compton, John Curtin, Dana Ebert, Eleanor Fearon, Ivis K. Flanagan, Nicole Heights, Joan Hong, Miko Kaleo, Jason Keeley, Aaron Lescano, Hillary Moon Murphy, Emily Parks, Joe Piscini, Aaron Roberts, Chris S. Sims, Kendra Lee Speedling, Owen Casey Stevens, Jason Tondro, Isis Wozniakowska, and Linda Zayas Palmer. My apologies for mispronouncing any of those names. This hardcover carries an MSRP of $44.99. I'm taking a guess this is probably clocking in 124-ish. We'll find out. You can grab the PDF for $19.99 starting tomorrow. So, anywho, what was I going to say? Oh, Master Jedi Dude says this book looks really interesting. As I pointed out, I think since this is really player facing, those normally do very well. They usually do. Kevin R. Smith asks, does Diet Right still taste like crap? If it tastes like crap, I wouldn't be drinking it. But I drink it because there's no sodium in it. There's no caffeine, no sodium. And it is really the only diet soda I know of that has no sodium in it. Yes, I know. Trying to do the healthy stuff. All right. Swing on over to the other camera. Let's start taking a peek at Starfinder Interstellar Species. Before we jump in, do want to point out the fine folks over at Paizo Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but no one affiliated with Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. Please keep in mind, this is not a review. I do these first looks at stuff and I'll get comments where it's like, hey, man, that was a great review. It's like, not a review. I haven't read it. Don't know anything about it. Taking a look at it for the first time. In fact, I haven't even read the back of the book, which I'm going to do in just a moment. Kabuki Kid points out, yes, it's hard to avoid sodium. Tendril, Wing, and Scale. Starfinder isn't just a game about hackers, telepathy, and laser pistols. It's an intersection of the many delightfully unique aliens that you can play. Interstellar Species presents an eclectic array of strange creatures, from extra dimensional kobolds and tiny Rexolite plant people to mighty dragonkin and crystalline silicon based Urogs. Man, they have to throw all this stuff in here. It's like, man, I'm like, okay, pronounce these things correctly, Jeff. Be prepared not only to uncover all new cultures, histories, and character options, but also to learn how you don't need a spine to pilot a starship. In this book, you'll find, well, we're going to find out right here what we're going to find. William Helhesice is with us. Let's dive on in. So, of course, I'm going to stay picture in picture up here, as I always do. So, as you can see, as we take a peek through, I'll be cutting off a little bit of the upper left portion of the book. Once again, I believe this is mainly player facing. So, if you are a player, hang out. You can keep watching. If it was an adventure, I'd tell you, you probably want to tune out. But, all right. So, let's dive on in. Keep in mind, I'm not going to take a look at each and every page, but I do want to get a good feel for what's in here. So we're going to have 3 sections. So we're going to have classes, because I know we've got new classes in here. I think it's 7. I think it's 7 new classes, 25 new species, as well as I believe there are rules to create your own species as well. Looks like the artwork's going to be pretty sweet throughout. So we get an overview, right? So there's discussion of classes, or species, the species builder. We get an NPC gallery. 100 NPCs of expansive variety await you in chapter 3, ranging from challenge rating 1/2, well, better than a quarter, tougher than a quarter, I'll tell you that much, all the way up to challenge rating 20, and each with its own niche. Okay, so we've got a new archetype as well, the evolutionist. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at the classes. Okay, there we go. There we have our first. There we have the evolutionist. So that's also an archetype. So you could take the evolutionist as an archetype instead of just simply as the class. So how many pages are devoted to the evolutionist? Once again, as I pointed out, I want to share each and every page here because, amazingly enough, and as bizarre as this sounds, there are people who will try to pirate stuff from these less than crystal clear images once YouTube gets their hands on it. It looks like we get quite a bit, quite a few pages. It looks like 10 at this point, right? Yep. And then these are pages 11 and 12. So we have the different archetypes, the different builds. So we have a Eldritch Champion, a Scrapper, a Crypt Custodian, Broadleaf Battler. Okay, then we've got the Biohacker. Efficiency-minded Urogs dedicate their lives to making incremental progress in countless endeavors, and their bodies are no exception to this thinking. Oh, I'm sorry, to this tinkering. Urog biohackers are experts in transforming their crystalline forms, reinforcing their structures, and unlocking new electrochemical abilities. Fortunately, Urogs are quite open about their research and see adapting these techniques for carbon-based life forms as an engaging exercise. As a result, these methods have spread across the Pact worlds and beyond. All right, so we get some class features. Well, that wasn't much. A couple of pages. Then we've got the Envoy. Cue the music from Warren Zevon. the envoy. So there's curiosity asking about if there's a Starfinder video game. No, there is not. There are 2 Pathfinder video games. So you've got Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous. Wrath of the Righteous is pretty recent, and they are like top-down, real crunchy role-playing stories. Can take an hour, like 100 hours to complete. I played Kingmaker. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Thought it was very interesting how you end up taking over a kingdom of your own, a very small kingdom. So not only are you going through your traditional sort of like Baldur's Gate, BioWare role-playing game action on your PC, you also have to work on your kingdom as well. Then we got the mechanic, the nanocyte, the operative. Despite their diverse skill sets, operatives traditionally embrace subtle strategies like stealth, deception, and speed. As dragonkin of Trisis aren't known for their agility, their operatives have instead mastered ways to leverage overbearing size, immense strength, and terrifying personal charisma with remarkable finesse. What's more, these agents often work with a closely bonded team, using their abilities to enable their partners, a practice that's helped this style of operative to spread across the galaxy. All right. And then we've got the precog and the soldier. Kobold warfare relies largely on cunning and engaging with enemies only when the conditions are ideal. Many kobolds opt to strike first, leveraging their species' innovations in sniper weapon design to fight at ranges where retaliation is impossible. Others delight in laying ambushes and setting traps, only charging in once their explosions have thrown their adversaries off balance. And that is the classes, the new classes here. We're going to start skipping more pages here. So we've got our species. So these are playable species. I think this is just a listing of what's available now, including this book. So a lot of it is what we've already seen. I find it pretty incredible, all the different species you've got in Starfinder. But once again, it's a science fiction game. Well, science fantasy, I guess we'll say. Whereas you don't have this sort of variety in Pathfinder. So that's kind of interesting. So this is our custom species builder. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. So the S tripi. Hey, come on, it's not real English. I can mispronounce it. Although I may have pronounced it correctly. So it looks like each of these races will get 4 pages devoted to them. At least we'll take a look at each of. There you go. Look at the big brain on Brad. The contemplative. The dragonkin. Are they making their first appearance in this book? I would have thought they'd have been included earlier. The Formian. The Hedragon. The Hennecan. One thing with science fiction role-playing games, Kids has had a nice Pulp Fiction reference, is that, at least in my opinion, it's probably fairly hard for players to kind of get into character with some of these more unusual, like the brain floating there. I would think it'd be a little tougher. Now, like the kobolds, which I was very surprised to see that this is the first time we've seen kobolds as a playable race, because we've had goblins since the start of Starfinder. But I think some of the more kind of bizarre species in that are probably a little tougher to role play. We've got the Mariquai, the Noir. Noirs are one of the many species that trace their origin to Galarian, as they bear a close resemblance to the Minotaurs known to have developed on that world. Despite beginning the era after the gap with no home world and living only in packed worlds, the desire of Noirs to build a place for themselves, coupled with a natural aptitude for complex patterns and structures, has led them to spread far and wide as explorers, colonists, troops, and engineers. Noirs prove quick to adapt to local customs, can spend much of their adulthood far from any other members of their species. There you go. The Patra. So they look like they are sort of tiger creatures. The Sacanoid. Why does that remind me of the little chicken that Foghorn Leghorn used to have to keep an eye out on, which would drive him up the wall? Boy, I say, boy. Yes. That's kind of bizarre. A lot of these are pretty strange looking. Oh, speaking of strange looking. The Quarlu. Gotta say, very unique. So Kabuki Kid points out, amusingly, when Dungeons and Dragons first started, Gary Gygax figured everyone would always want to play humans only. Kevin R. Smith says Henry Hawk. He's a chicken hawk. Right. And not the way a lot of people think of chicken hawks nowadays. The Raxolite. Oh, yes, those are the little, like, onion head creature. Kevin says, not sure that Gygax always thinking players would want to play humans. Kevin says he's not sure if that's true because he went to a lot of trouble to gimp the non-human races to make people mostly play humans. These just cracked me up. Weren't these creatures the focus of this year's free RPG day? They weren't the Skittermanders? Maybe I'm wrong. I know there's an adventure featuring these creatures. The Reforian, the Scyphozoan. Jeez. Looks like a jellyfish with hands. The Shimreen. Born on a world racked by eternal storms, Shimreens are autochronous humanoids composed of glimmering crystal who rose to prominence through tenacity and ingenuity, using magic and technology to adapt to their volatile environment. Now these ingenious innovators live in idyllic city states, each encased in a crystal dome that both shields the metropolis and powers the city with the limitless energy of a raging storm. We got the Shro. It's the Shro, bro. Flaming says the comedy element of the system. William says these are starting to look like Pokemon. I don't know about that. Kabuki Kid says non-human races in D&D were pretty great. Their big downfall was a low level cap and high XP to advance. Yeah, I never dug that either. I got to be honest. I mean, not that I ran a ton of D&D. I think we've kind of covered that in the past, that I soon moved on to Call of Cthulhu as my role-playing game that I ran for decades. But I never really paid that much attention to the class limit, because I thought that was right. I mean, speaking of gimping, that's to me that's gimping the race there. So we got the Trox. We've got the uplifted bears. They don't even get a bizarre species name. They're just uplifted bears. Though their physical forms resemble those of their mundane counterparts, uplifted bears are far from simple animals. Those who underestimate them do so at great peril. At some point in the past, the population of bears, stories range from an initial group of several dozen to all the bears on a dying planet, were modified to increase their mental capacities, granting them extraordinary intelligence. The details of who modified the bears and why, either lost to the gap, or as more conspiratorial takes posit, deliberately concealed. While some uplifted bears are obsessed with uncovering their origins, others feel this focus on the past only holds their people back. Interesting. Coco B says they don't mind more / extra races within sci-fi role-playing games, but many of these seem to be more suited to NPCs. Yeah, I like, honestly, myself personally, I don't know if I could see myself role-playing a creature like this, or like Brad's big brain, or the one that looked like a jellyfish. I don't know. The Vlaka, I could. I don't know, because it's humanoid, maybe. I don't know. We've got the Warlanicy. Warlanicy are charming and intrepid nomads and love to travel for years at a time, valuing the journey more than the destination. Right. Then we get into an NPC gallery, which Coco B was just pointing out. Many of these species seem to be best suited for. We're just going to get a bunch of random NPCs. Yep, we get some assassins, bounty hunters. We're just getting sort of basically NPC archetypes. We're not getting specific NPCs that you would use as like a character. Emergency workers. I gotta say, this book has been pretty impressive. I say it all the time. I honestly think Starfinder deserves a bit more love. And I know it's popular enough where they continue to release adventures practically every month. And we do get new supplements. Yeah, I don't know, about maybe three supplements a year. So it's selling well enough. But you don't hear a lot of people talking about playing it. I hear people talk about, Pathfinder. And I'll hear people talking about, going back and forth between first edition and second edition Pathfinder. Sports figures here. Survivalists. But I don't really hear many people talk about playing Starfinder. And it is a very unique science fiction role-playing game. Or I keep saying science fiction. It's really science fantasy. But it is unlike any other setting out there. And it's not simply Pathfinder in space either. So that is Interstellar Species. What was the page count on this? 190. Well, 192 if we count the ads. So that is a first peek inside. Now, Sammy is going to do the review on this because I'm doing the review on Impossible Lands. So that will be coming in the near future. Once again, this hardcover carries an MSRP of $44.99, and the PDF is available for $19.99 beginning tomorrow. The Kabuki Kid asks, yeah, but can you die in character generation? Just talking about that yesterday with the two Traveler bundles of holding that are currently going on. And I was talking about how I know it's a meme that, dying in character generation in original Traveler, but it didn't happen as often as people think. It happened. It would happen. But like I pointed out yesterday, it would happen if people were really pushing their luck. Like everybody, they wanted like the more skills and everything. So their characters were like 60 years old to start off with. Kabuki Kid says they still have the little black books. Traveler. I do not. I wish I did. I would consider trying to pick them up, but I guarantee they're pretty damn pricey. So, and I gotta be honest, I don't think Traveler was all that great when it first came out. It was okay. So, in my opinion, it was kind of bland. That's how I kind of looked at it. I found their adventures to be sort of. Except what was the one with the ship? Or it was more of a mystery than anything else. That one was pretty decent. I do remember that one. All righty. Anyway, so Starfinder, Interstellar Species, hit stores tomorrow. It'll be available tomorrow. Yes, Kabuki Kid says yes, and you end up with a 73-year-old pilot. Yep, that's what everybody would like be pushing. Oh, well, I want more. I want more. Well, that's going to be another 4 years. Another 4 years. So Kabuki Kid says the one with the Space Hulk. Yeah, it was an abandoned ship, and it's an alien ship, and nobody can figure out what's going on. Where is everybody? And if I remember correctly, there was a plague on board. So Kevin R. Smith says the little black books were written in a language reminiscent of High Gygaxian. Yes, that is most certainly the case. But you also have to keep in mind, no offense to people these days, and I'm not getting to the point where it's like, get off my lawn. I believe people our age, because I know how old most of the people watching this show are. They're not in their 20s. Not saying that we don't have people in their 20s and even younger watching on occasion, but we know the crowd is a little bit older here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. I believe that growing up at the point of time when many of us did, we have far more extensive vocabularies than younger people. We read far, far more than, and what I mean is we read for pleasure than many people do today. And it used to drive me nuts when I was like in my 30s and I'd be working with people, and I almost always had a book around. And they'd be like, "Oh, you read?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "How many books do you read in a year?" And I'd say, "Yeah, I usually knock one or two out a week." Really? I'd be like, "Yeah, sometimes a little more." And they'd be like, "I read like one book a year." It was like, "Oh, all righty." It's like if you want to write, I'm a firm believer. I agree with what Stephen King put in on writing. You can't be a writer if you do not read. It's impossible. You just can't. You can't be a good writer. So, all right. So that is it for this time out. On tomorrow's show, we are going to be taking a peek at Broncolonia Macaronicon from Archon Games. And I got to say, this is, why do I always say Archon? It's Archeron Games. Keep putting the R in the wrong place. So we took a look at Broncolonia. Now we're going to look at the additional supplement. And I will have a review of Broncolonia in the near future as well. Lastly, one thing I wanted to point out, I've mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again. I'm skewing more and more towards role-playing games simply because we've had such a, not simply, I love role-playing games, but because I've had such a hard time getting the gang together to play board games, and I don't feel comfortable reviewing something if I've only played it like solitaire, if it's got like a one-player element to it. So, but don't be shocked when the new year rolls around that I focus, I don't want to say exclusively on role-playing games, because there are board game companies that I love working with and I love their releases, but it's going to be heavy into role-playing games. So you even notice the news. I always try to make sure I've got 3 role-playing game news pieces compared to a couple of board game pieces. So just pointing that out. So that is it for tonight. If you were watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. And of course, if you took part in chat, extra experience points for you as well. But of course, I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos on this channel. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming first look at the new edition of Into the Odd from Free League Publishing. Coming soon. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, late night, whatever time of day it happens to be in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.